Don't you guys find it funny that it's the second last day of the week? It's the second last day of the month. Tomorrow's the last day of the week. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. It's pretty fucking hilarious. All right, let's take a look at gold. So yeah, this buy I took here, which I posted on my story as well. It's just like um, trying some things to see if we're gonna fill up this range or not, 33 pip range. But anyway, um, okay, let's start off from the daily time frame. Wow, look at that. So daily, it did continue to push down. This is something that we were looking at yesterday as well, that maybe we're going to start to push down. You know, when we do these price breakdowns, it's really important because you're not only studying the market structure on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, you're also studying the market structure on the higher time frames, right? So if you look at the previous one, we talked about maybe we're making a low here for price to move down, and maybe we may start to push down as well. I mean, if you look on the weekly hasn't really moved bearish. So I think at the weekly, if it does have to move bearish, I think we could look at some confirmation on small time frames. But anyway, let's take a look at this right over here. So obviously we got the 4 hour, we got some sort of a range we need to fill. And if we do start to move down, I think that move down would be a pretty good, 100 pip range for price to move down. But if we're looking at it from a perspective of, okay, can we move up? Like, what can we do if price starts to move up? Let's take a look at this right here. Well, we got this resistance around, what's this price? This is 23.42. And if we break above the 30, obviously we can continue to push up in the 160 pip range. Now, looking at the 1 hour time frame, this is what we're interested in. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, we have to identify the most recent zone, right? So let's adjust this based off of the 1 hour time frame. Obviously, we have a resistance on. Actually, we had this support that we broke on the 1 hour time frame. Let's drop down to the 30-minute. So we had that support. We now have maybe this resistance right over here that we're trying to break, reject, whatever, right? So if we do, let's say, break above this area, how big is this range? It's like a 30 pip range we can come into. But ideally, I would want to see some sort of a resistance forming, because if we can form some sort of a resistance here, then I think there's a very good possibility we can continue pushing down. We've got a very nice range. And talking about the range, we also have a pretty good, decent distance to travel, something that we talked about on the daily, right? If you look on the daily, you can see that zone matches up with the daily at the bottom. Looking at the 4 hour, matches up with the 4 hour at the bottom, 1 hour, 30 minutes. So it's going to be great. I mean, if we can create some sort of resistance, I think we can continue pushing down in this range, 34 pip, 84 pip range. If we do continue to push up, I want to take a look at this wick on the 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's like a minor resistance. I'd be more like if okay. So if I'm looking at buys, I'd be more comfortable buying above 23.39, because then I know I got, like a clean 46 pip range. This is not clean because you got a little bit of an issue here. Of course, you can ignore this with volume on the 30-minute, but this is like a 40 pip range, but a cleaner 40 pip range is right over here above 23.39. Even on the 30-minute time frame, you can take a look at this and you can see how clean that range is. Like, look, clean candle, clean candle. Just one itty bitty wick over there, which doesn't really matter. Like with volume, we should break that. So that's something I'm going to be looking at for buys. So I'm going to place my blue line here as well. Other than that, I'm going to be waiting for price to create some sort of a, looks like we're doing a retest for price to move down. So we'll see what happens. We'll wait. Looking at pound yen, the daily is starting to push down here a little bit on pound yen, right? After all that rally, let's take a look on the 4 hour. 4 hours coming down as well. We're creating some sort of support. We're coming into some sort of support here as well, around 199.700. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, we are basically consolidating on the 1 hour time frame. We're creating some sort of a market structure that may tell us that maybe price action or pound yen is going to be a little bit more convenient. Like previously it hasn't been that convenient at all. So looking at the 30-minute, we are forming some sort of like, consolidation area, which is good. We like consolidation areas because we know the longer the price consolidates, the harder it breaks. So I think it's going to be great to see if it just starts to consolidate till, pre-London, London Open, and we can get some nice breaks here. I mean, if you do break below 199,660, looking to the left-hand side, you got like clean candles here. You can see how we had, wow, look at this, high, 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 low, high, high, low, like, just moving up in a staircase. Let's take a look at that on the 1 hour time frame, see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where a zone could be. Maybe right here. And how much is this range anyway? This is like a 28 pip range. I think I mean, it's okay. So, I mean, it's still below that consolidation area. Let's see what gold is doing. I don't want to miss anything on gold. All right. So, I mean, yeah, so we're just consolidating here. Candles are printing side by side, nothing to do. I mean, if you do break about 199,950, you got sort of like a clean range for price to move up 20, 25, 30 pips. Like pound yen lately hasn't really had much volume. Volume means how much price can move. So I'm going to put my support right here, even though we had these clean candles making lower lows and lower highs. So, I mean, these blue lines I put on, these are visual indicators for myself to know if I can take a buy above this area or I can take a sell below this area. So those are just like visual representations. Yeah, so we're just gonna wait. Oh, there we go. 30-minute right over here. How much is this range? 22, 23 pips. How much is this range? Just like 29 pips. So you can see how the ranges are smaller here, but the ranges on gold are way bigger. So now you gotta choose your poison. You gotta choose your poison. Anyway, so we're gonna head off. I'm gonna see you guys later on for the New York session. Yes, we'll be streaming New York 4, 5, 6, 7, around 7 a.m. Eastern. New York session. We'll see you then. Take care.